Hey guys, welcome to another episode from Stacy Here We Grow Again. Today I want to talk about my begonia and my dracaena that I broke down at the store the other day and bought because they were on sale. Now I just want to do this video because I know, when you first bring a plant home, you're kind of curious, what do I do? So I want to show you what I do to take care of plants. Now it's really easy. What I do is just make sure the plant you're getting, you keep an eye on where you're getting it from, like how much sun it's getting, where it's at, is it inside, is it outside, what type of light it needs that it says on there. They should have it in the kind of light it needs already, which is medium light. So that's about 6 hours of direct sunlight, about 4 to 6 hours. And they can tolerate indirect sunlight too, they just won't grow as vigorous and vibrant. These variegated dracaenas, they need a little more sun from what I understand than my regular Dracaena Compact Janet Craig. I love that one inside. It's just a green foliage on it. And it's really pretty. This one's going to get a lot bushier. This is a Dracaena Warnecki. So I've been wanting this one, and I've been wanting this Begonia Rex. I don't know much on the Begonia Rex, but this is the way I treat all my plants when I bring them home. This was dormant, this little Venus. I just wanted to show you a little update on the dormancy, the update on it, because look at them traps. They're starting to grow. This one's becoming active, getting some branches on it, and look, I got Venuses. See all them traps? It's like pink inside. I'm sorry I can't really zoom in too well with this, but it's like cloudy and dark out. It's so weird with the weather, but check that out. See the traps on there? They're growing, and I got like 6 of them already, and more popping out. So that's a Venus. It stays inside because they are dormant right now for the winter time. That stays inside under my grow light, 18 and 6, and it's doing great so far. But when I bring houseplants home or any kind of vegetables home or any plant I have, you want to make sure first you're picking a plant that's good for your growing area. Are you able to take care of it? Does it require too much care that you have to give it? A couple years ago, I wasn't able to take care of 150 plants. Fortunately, now I am, and I love it, and I'm going to continue to follow my dream. I hope to donate most of what I grow to shelters one day and just, help people in need. And I want to take you guys on that journey with me and hoping teach you how to grow some of your own, and maybe you can help donate some of your own produce that you have left over to neighbors or people in need or just shelters or just somebody. It's such a good feeling to give. And I'm hoping to build my channel with you guys. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to all the new subscribers. We are at 71 that I seen today. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, so I wasn't really on the computer. I try to take those holiday days and spend it with my family and just be with my own self and my garden and try to stay off the electronics. I try not to be on the electronics on holidays and special days like that. You want to give that up to the Lord, whoever your God is, and be with your family. So when I brought these home the other day, what I did was I treated with neem, not to get off the subject, guys, but what I did was you want to treat with neem. Now you want to pick healthy plants that are going to grow for your environment, and like I was saying, you want to make sure you have the right time for the type of plant you're getting. So these require really little care. I know the Dracaena does. I'm not sure about the Begonia Rex, but if you guys know anything about it, I'd be more than happy to hear any comments you have, suggestions. But from what I understand, they're kind of both the same light requirements for it. When I take a plant home, I keep it in the same sunlight it was in the store. Either it was inside, outside, wherever it was. Ask the store clerk, how much sun does this plant get a day out here, and they'll tell you. If it's in 6 hours like these were, these don't need adjusting. So what I did was I brought them in my lanai here. It's not really getting too much sun right now. You can see the sun starting to want to creep over right here. But they were on my table. I just treated them. They were on my lanai right here, which is where I usually keep all my plants that are new and that I bring home and need to treat. These are my older plants. You can see they're, like, I got tons, pineapples back there and stuff. But this is my older plants, and then my newer ones and stuff, or the ones that I need treat, I put on this side, or I keep it on over here. Now I put these here so I can treat them before I bring them inside. And they're going to stay in the same sunlight. They were in 6 hours of direct sunlight in the store, and now they're going to stay in 6 hours of direct sunlight inside in my eastern facing exposure. Now when you're acclimating a plant outside to inside, you want to give it a couple days to adjust. So like I'm going to bring it inside. I'm going to keep it in 6 hours of sun out here. Bring it inside for about 2 hours tomorrow into that window inside. Then bring it back out after the 2 hours into the same sun it was in for the same amount of time left over. You always want to just stay the same amount of time, like the full 6 hours. So you want to take the 2 hours out, so 4 hours outside, 2 hours inside. Then the next day you're going to increase 4 hours inside, 2 hours outside. And then by the third, fourth day, or a week, it depends how much sun it's in, you should be going like 4 days to a week. It should take to acclimate any plant you're bringing home and acclimating to its new area, if it's that much of a time difference. It should take about a week. And that's just not to shock your plant. Now while I'm acclimating them and they're out here, I'm treating with neem. So what I do is make sure they have a good drink, because sometimes that soil is a little dry. They have a lot of plants to water in the store. So what I do is give it a good drink first. Anytime I treat with neem or, pesticide or nutrients, I always water my soil first, because it really helps to not waste your nutrients. So your soil is going to suck up that water first. We're going to water it a little bit, let that plant suck it up, discard what's left in that little saucer if you have one at the bottom, and we're going to give it a little drink of nutrients. This way we're not watering with our nutrients, and that just helps you not waste your nutrients in the long run, saves you money. And I treat with 2 tablespoons per gallon of water of neem, which you can see I already have mixed. You can keep this stuff in a jug for a few days, but after that I would discard it or use it up, because it can mold out your containers. Now I just use a regular high-C container, make sure that smell is washed out of it. I just use some Dawn soap, it works really good actually, or any kind of soap you have, just non-scented. It's safer for the plants. And you want to mix a 1/4 teaspoon of Dawn soap or any kind of soap in with your 2 tablespoons of neem oil. Mix it up in the jug really good. Transfer it into a sprayer. Now if you've never used neem oil before, anytime I say on my videos use neem oil or I use neem oil, you always want to test something. Now I know this Dracaena can tolerate neem oil, the one inside, so I know we're good on this. But I've never taken care of a begonia before. So what I'm going to do to make sure this begonia can tolerate this neem oil on the foliage, it can tolerate it in the soil, not hitting foliage. But if you're spraying foliage down to make sure you don't have any mites on the foliage, which I want to make sure I'm not spreading any pests indoors. So I treated the soil when I first brought it home the same day after I watered. You can see it's been 3 days. The less cooler temperatures you have, the slower your soil is going to dry out. So the cooler it is, the less you're going to have to water. The hotter it is, the more you're going to have to water. This has been like 3 days, guys, and this is still pretty wet, so we're good. And you just want to test like a bottom leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and like test this little guy, probably this little guy, these 2 little leaves, 3 little leaves right here. This way if I come out tomorrow and these are shriveled up to nothing, or the day after and they're shriveled up to nothing, I usually wait 48 hours after I spray with neem to make sure it's not going to burn, because sometimes it can take 48 hours to show them signs. So I'll spray these and make sure it can tolerate it. And if it can, then I'll spray my whole plant down really lightly. If I notice that it's struggling a little bit and it's burning, I'll go half strength. So instead of 2 tablespoons, I use a tablespoon of it. And it seems to do the job, it seems to really do good. And the Dawn soap is really an insecticide itself, so that really helps. And this is just another thing I use in my garden, along with pH down when growing vegetables. You want to make sure your pH is correct. And then sterilizer for all your instruments after you're using any containers, especially treating for bugs. I wash out and sterilize all my watering cans. I water everything by hand, all my nutrients. Now you can use any nutrients you want, guys, but you got to make sure you're using the right nutrients for the plant you got. So my Dracaena usually likes a 5-5-5 versus my vegetables outside. They can tolerate like a 10-10-10, or a 10-20-20 they can tolerate. So what I do is use my Dynagrow for like my begonia, my Dracaena. I use this at a 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water, and that's it. If I notice that they need a little more food, like my marigolds or, my vegetables and their vegetable stages, I can use this Miracle Grow at full strength, tablespoon per gallon of water. It works great, guys. A lot of people are against Miracle Grow, but I really don't have anything bad to say about any nutrients I've used as far as what I have here, because you know, they're nutrients and they work good. And there's so many products on the market to buy. You just got to make sure that your numbers are right. So these numbers are NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And this is for blooming stage. This is for fruiting and blooming stage. So when my blueberries are fruiting, or my blackberries fruiting, or my vegetables are fruiting, string beans, peppers, I usually go to my bloom once every 3 weeks or so, just to give them a little extra phosphorus and potassium, which is the last two numbers. Low nitrogen you want in blooming stage. And that's why I back off on my Miracle-Gro in blooming a little bit. In blooming, if you're using just Miracle-Gro, you can just go half strength in blooming stage. If you feel like it's too much, or if you feel like your plants are happy, go ahead and follow the directions as they say, you know. You just gotta, guys, we can only give you a guide on gardening and what you can do, but until you actually get down and dirty and get to it and growing a plant yourself, you know, I couldn't grow anything 8 years ago, but I started small. I started with bamboos, dracaenias, you know, little marigolds, just little stuff like that. I killed bamboos, I killed marigolds, I killed the easy stuff, but then I got used to them. I learned about them. I brought them home while they were getting treated and acclimated. I did research, just like I'm doing on this Begonia Rex. You want to do your research on your plant you have, and then make sure you're acclimating it right. Make sure you know the right soil it needs, the right fertilizer it needs, the right potting soil it needs. You know, I have drainage in all my containers. I do not garden without drainage. Every pot I own has drainage. So that is really important in bringing home plants. You can see that I have drainage in everything, guys. And I garden with a lot. I have air plants. There's so many different kinds of plants. And this one's a butterfly plant. This requires totally different care than anything else. It constantly needs to stay wet. You cannot give that plant root rot. It's impossible. But any other plant, like succulents and stuff like that, these are starting to turn red from the cooler weather. You know, you can give these plants root rot with that much moisture in it. So you just got to be careful what you're growing and make sure you're looking at, you know, what they need. Pot size, soil, fertilizer, light, drainage, and that's about it. I mean, just the overall care of what they need. Look, that was $1 in the dollar store. You can't beat that. That's like a 12-inch pot. Drainage, I drilled a bunch of drainage holes. You take that drill bit and you just go drill it down, guys. They give you a few of them, but that's not enough for me. This is my lettuce, and lettuce needs good drainage. You can see just how beautiful they are. And I grew those from seed. I grow a lot of things from seed, but you can see just how healthy my plants are from the nutrients I use, the right soil, just looking up the right care that they need. That's an Aphytis. I love that. This is such an easy plant to care for. And I just want to give you guys a tip on growing it uneven. So you can see that she's really bushing out this way. She's leaning towards that sun. And she's not really growing in here because she's been in the shade. So what you want to do, and you can see that her foliage isn't as bright, and it's kind of dulled out compared to when we turn it around. Look at her foliage. This Aphytis is such an easy houseplant to care for. If you guys don't have the time for plants, and you want a pest-resistant plant too, the only thing it does get sometimes in the midsummer is aphids, or the end of summer is aphids. We did get aphids twice on her, but you can see that neem oil takes them right out. She tolerates that neem oil really well. We transplanted her in a bigger pot because she came in a really tiny pot when we got her. And I've propagated off her like about 6 times already, more than that, and we're going to propagate again. You can see how full she is all around there, just from the pot size, going up a pot size when she needed it. And she'll be in there for a while now. My pineapple is doing good because of the pot size. You can see it's a big plant. It's going to need a big pot. So until next time, guys, I hope you guys, you know, this helped you in the best way possible to take home your plants and take care of them. Keep them healthy, keep them bug-free, and remember, keep them away from your other plants when you first bring them home for the day. You know, treat them with neem, and then you can go ahead and start acclimating them to their new spot. You don't want to infest your other plants when you're taking them home. You know, you work so hard to grow a lot of these from seed. These are basils we grew. And you don't want these plants getting infested if they do have aphids or any bugs on them from the store, which can happen. It's normal. they're in a garden center. It's normal. There's a bunch of stuff in there, people walking in and out. They can only do such a good job, you know. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as best as possible to learn how to take care of your plants when you first bring them home, or just to take care of them in general. I love doing these videos for you guys, and I just want to welcome all the new subscribers, because we are at 71, and I'm just so super excited that you guys are enjoying these videos as much as I'm shooting them. You know, I'm not that much of a videotaper yet. I only know how to garden, so I appreciate you bearing with me until I learn how to shoot these videos correctly and, you know, make them as easy as possible as I can for you. Happy planting. Bye-bye.